stands for the Aftermod. Yeah, okay. So the overview, the genre of my script is sci-fi horror. This is because both these genres do not limit themselves to appealing to a particular gender. This will become clear later on in the proposal, but the idea of the content is that it appeals to adults of all ages and genders. The unique selling point of my content will be the intended star cast. People such as Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, as well as stars such as Donald Glover and Adore Delano will be incorporated into the script. People from all walks of life and all in different stages of their career will make the content more relatable for the audiences. The intention of my product is to create a piece of content that stays with the person after they receive it. I want them to question their lifestyles, understand different struggles in other people's lives through an intense sci-fi experience. The idea of it being a post-apocalyptic world where the species is discovering new facts about the old world isn't far off from where we are today. The method of creating a generic town with faceless characters means the character can be imagined to be anybody. The content deals with the consequences of I keep forgetting that. Okay, the content deals with consequences of censorship. Yeah, so it's all about censorship. So the high concept, the setup is the year 2080, after the destruction of the Earth. Scientist Tyrannes, which actually means like oppression, creates a suit that modifies the human body to deal with the current climate. Once born, everyone is immediately given a suit. This suit therefore affects gender. Everyone is asexual, and the reproductive organs cannot be accessed. Instead, the suit calculates the male to female ratio and keeps us steady by manually impregnating the most capable subjects at the latest time possible. For instance, those with stronger genes will be used to reproduce. The suit will take the seed from the male and transmit it to the female suit. The suit also then therefore regulates population, so gets rid of waste, so you can't actually go to pee and poo anymore. The colour of the suits are the same apart from the badge on the chest, which says TAM. This varies between red, yellow and green depending on your class. Red is the lowest, yellow is the middle class and green is the upper. Greens do not often work and there are very few greens in the New World. Those with grey badges represent the army. All major religions have been wiped out. Many lost faith throughout the disaster and did not teach their offspring the nature of worship. They do not understand free will, as the suit handles this between the hours of 8 o'clock and 6:30, which means like the suit basically makes you go to work or makes you go pick up your kids and things like that. The suits are anti-aging, so those in the suits will only physically age a person to the age of most potential, where the suits will then start regenerating the body cells, maintaining the subject at the age, only allowing mentalities to age. People are disintegrated by the suit if injured and no longer valuable to the popular. Yeah, I know, right? It's so deep. The intel in the suit can affect the amount of knowledge received by the occupier. The suit can verbally control the occupier, apply the same magnetic force between two subjects in order to keep them apart. So, like, say your suit gives off like an N magnetic, and someone else does, then you can't really like touch. And in order to keep them apart, and separation from your suit results in extreme circumstances. So like, this is just a picture of like what I wanted like the suits to look like. So like there's like a dome on your head. You can only see eyes, so you can't see like people's skin colours. So that's not a thing. Like racism isn't a thing anymore. And like just like general like attractiveness to people. Like you don't really. There's not like relationship development between people. Yeah, and it can control your speech and that, and then that's just like another photo. So my narrative synopsis. I'm just going to give you like the first like sort of like 10 minutes of the film, in like a really short. It'll be shorter than 10 minutes. So Red is seen skipping rocks across an empty lake, and sees something shiny on the ground. There's nothing shiny in this new world. Red runs across the empty lake, picks up a 50p coin, and looks up, and Yellow is standing there. Just to make it clear, no one has names, so you're just yellow, green, or red. Okay. They begin to fight for the penny until the suits teleport them apart, which would be the magnetic thing. They then begin to scrap for the penny, and with it in hand, Red runs across the lake, through a busy street, and then off into a gap in the fence. Yellow then teleports off, assuming that they've lost Red. Red carries on running, not looking back. A dog runs alongside him, and he fades into the black. Yellow this is a different scene. So Yellow sits staring out of a window when he gets teleported back to his desk with a pencil and a piece of paper in his hand. He drops the pencil, walks back to the window, sits down, sparks a cigarette, and he's then teleported back to his desk with a pen and pencil in his hand, which is like to show how the suit makes you do your work rather than like just lays. Okay, and then Red is seen walking into the factory, scanning his chest where Tam is written, and gets into work. Yellow is also there with an authoritative look on himself in a trance, walks past Red and says, "You're of less importance than I thought today, Red. My priorities have changed and therefore I cannot reevaluate your pay." Yellow then snaps out the trance, whispers sorry and walks away, which I wanted it to show how the suit like controls the speech. So it's sort of like, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to say that, it's like my body. Yeah, and then Yellow and Green are sitting in the office, standing above Yellow with his head down. Yellow confronts Red about earlier today, because he was the two that saw the coin. And then they go downstairs, pulls into an alleyway and shows him the 50p. Yellow is shocked as he's never seen anything shiny before. A black car then closes the alley off, and two Silvers pick them up and put them in the car. They wake up tired and gagged. Green is standing there with the 50p between them. Green is a different character. "How much do you want this penny?" the Green Man asks. The two don't reply as they're gagged. "Enough to put your existence in the line?" The two look at each other. "I need rats," says Green. Walks over to Yellow. "Is this really existence? What are we? We're cases. We're just cases." Green turns the wire, sticking at the back of his neck. So this is like this little bit here. Everyone has a wire there, but no one really touches it because they don't have free will, so they're not really like looking to explore.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And Green pulls the wire, sticking out of the suit. "I'm just a case." He rips the pin off the Yellow shirt. Yellow smokes up. Yellow grows old and turns into dust, which is to represent how the suit keeps you young. So I just wanted like people to understand like all the capabilities of the suit before like the actual setup. And then later on it'd be Red trying to discover why his friend Yellow turned into dust. Like he didn't realise the suit was because like people are born with the suits and it's become like so common that people just assume that they're born with the suit. Like people just assume they don't really have parents or like things like that. And the intended intended communication with my script would be to outline the dramatised aspects of the content. I wanted to allow creative direction by the director, refraining from camera direction, but overall my script must represent the dystopia of the city, with little speech and a lot of stage directions representing the despair and like lack of like communication that people can have between each other now, like in this world. The script will be accurately labelled and easy to read, as the dialogue will not carry the script. So I wanted it to be carried by script like direction. And yeah, so character brief. So Yellow, well, all of their ages are unknown. So Yellow, or the main Yellow that we see, his dramatic motivation occurs once Yellow is victimised. Yellow has always had a longing for fulfilment and never truly felt satisfied with life. Yellow is a psychic, falls into middle class, therefore having a managerial position. Although it's Red that gets him into the situation, he blindly follows Red in hope to find himself. He's helpless and static without Red. Red has no dramatic motivation until they come across the 50p coins. It sparks a resemblance that he can't put his finger on. Red is at the bottom of the food chain in the lowest class. Red is protagonist. His actions directly correlate to the events in the text. So I didn't want it to be like there's necessarily a bad person, but I did want them to be a main character. So I wanted it to show like development within people, not necessarily like victimising or labelling someone as a bad person, because in this world there's like not really that sort of like level of like there's like no one's killing people in this world and things like that. So there's not really a bad person, but maybe his intentions are negatively affecting other people in the text, therefore making them the antagonist or making them the protagonist. And then Silvers will be army members. They're completely subject and controlled by the suit, so they have no free will at all, and they're antagonists. And green, he's unknown, and I wanted him to kind of stay
They're
unknown.
the higher class, aren't they?
Yeah, he's higher class. He's understanding there's more to life, and I thought it'd be better because the higher class don't really work, so it'd be like they would be pondering, like they wouldn't be like, oh, is this kind of... Obviously there's going to be like a group of people that assume that this is the way the world should work, but I wanted there to be a sort of rebellion within the higher class.
Okay.
I didn't want it to be like the lower class rebellion. I wanted it to be the higher class understanding that there's more to life than like money and things like that. And he's the main antagonist. And yeah, the non-fiction character requirements. There isn't really non-fiction character requirements because everyone will be in suits. What I wanted it to be generic, as in there was like generic like older lads that you could kind of tell that was older, and like which would be like the Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, them guys. And there would be greens, and then I wanted there to be a younger cast, which would be like the reds, which kind of like representing rebellion and like new age and things like that. But I didn't want it to be necessarily like obvious. I didn't want like you'd be able to like look at someone and be like, oh, that's an old person, which is why the suit is like completely covered. I just wanted it to be like evident in the way that they act and like
mannerisms
mannerisms and things like that.
Cool.
Yeah, and that's the end.
Awesome.